TGIF, am I right? So today, I thought we'd talk about something that we can all relate to, dealing with toxic people. Now, I read somewhere once that relationships should serve as fountains, not drains. I love that. Now, unfortunately, the world is full of drains.
Screws fall out all the time. The world's an imperfect place.
All of us by default are going to deal with toxic people at some point in our lives, whether we want to or not, if we haven't already. And because of that, we should be prepared, right? Now, some of you might be asking, what is a toxic person? What makes somebody toxic? Here's some things you'll notice about toxic people. And get ready, honey, because it's a long list. Toxic people can be manipulative, controlling, abusive, emotionally, mentally, or physically, emotionally immature. They don't leave a place better than how they came into it. They spread negativity, they kill the good vibes, and they bring the whole mood down. After you're with them, you don't feel encouraged, you feel drained. Some of them might come off really cool and like good people when you first meet them, but eventually their true colors do come out. And sometimes, unfortunately, our own family members can be toxic people, and that gets really complicated really fast. Another thing toxic people do is never take the blame. They don't see themselves or their actions as any kind of problem. Even if they are the problem, they will always find a reason to blame other people or even blame you. Now, here are some examples of toxic people. Controllers, control freaks. They try to manipulate you to do whatever it is they want you to do. Negative people. They will find something wrong in every situation or with any person they meet. They can't say anything positive. Something is always terrible.
If this is really how you feel, it isn't healthy. Maybe you should think about coming down to the guidance center and talking to someone with that help.
I'm not crazy, Malin. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years.
Gossipers. They drag people down all the time behind their back, and they talk trash like nobody's business. And FYI, I just want to tell you, true friends will stab you in the face, not the back. They might say things that you don't want to hear, but it's coming from a place of love, and they're doing it because they care about you. They don't make a bunch of drama by getting a million other people involved. Remember that. And then we have bullies. These people like to make other people feel this big so they can feel bigger and in control and better about themselves. You have victims who like to play the victim. They will face consequences because of their own actions, but they don't want to be held responsible. They expect other people to get them out of those situations. Nothing is ever their fault. They are always the victim. They will never take responsibility. Woe is them. Everything happening to them is just so unfair, and they can't understand why all of this stuff is going on. I know this is very depressing subject matter, so let's move on to how we can treat toxic people as Christians, because it is very difficult, but yet very necessary. Step 1, recognize the behavior is toxic. Watch for how you feel after being around certain people. Open your eyes and be aware.
A toxic person.
Wah, 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 wah. Number 2,
set clear boundaries.
you can go to the person, you can tell them how they're making you feel, and you can try to work things out, okay? That does not mean they will pay attention to anything you say. They might, but if they go back to the same behavior they did right after you told them how it made you feel, it's time to go. I'm gonna say it again. It's time to go.
Cut it out. Quit it. Come on, knock it off.
If people don't care about how they treat you, they're toxic, and you need to get out of that situation. Stop investing into the relationship. Now, this is very hard for people to do, but good things never came easy. You're gonna thank yourself afterwards.
Just do it!
Stop investing in the relationship once you know it's not a good thing. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. Sometimes you might be around toxic people and you can't do anything about it because they are a family member or a boss or something like that. If that is your situation, first, I am very sorry. Second, please pay very close attention to step number 3, which is pray for them and hand it over to God. I know, that is much easier said than done, and it probably sounds like a cliche Christian answer. However, it's true and it works if you actually do it. You have to truly, legit pray for them. I've had to do that more than once, and it was really hard and really unnatural at first, but ultimately it was really worth it. And in my own experience, it got a lot easier to pray for these people when I remembered this. Bad attitude, bad character, and bad choices all stem from life experiences that shaped them in a negative way. They might be a victim of some form of abuse, and that doesn't have to be sexual or physical. It can be emotional, it can be mental. They have some kind of insecurity going on that makes them act the way they do. They could have poor mental health that they're not addressing because they might not even know they're having mental health issues. It can be any of those things. And because they haven't dealt with those things, it's affecting their choices and their behavior towards you and everyone around them. That just makes me feel bad. And then at that point, I kind of want to pray for them. But they're not the only ones you need to pray for. One day, I was praying for this person that I was having a lot of trouble with, that I was around all the time, and I had to be. I just felt this sense of humility in the idea that I needed to pray for myself for having patience, understanding, and kindness in my heart towards this person. Like maybe it wasn't all 100% on them, and there was something on my end that I could do about it in my own self. I asked him to develop these things in me so I could be better about how I handled myself in those situations. I want to see other people the way he sees them. And I also want to remember that if God can forgive me, I need to be able to forgive other people. And to be perfectly honest with you, asking him to change my heart in those situations probably helped more in those situations than praying for the other person. Because honestly, just because you pray for them doesn't mean they're going to change. That's not to say you shouldn't pray for them, because you should. I'm just saying at the end of the day, you're the only one that you can control. You have a choice in what you say and how you handle your emotions and how you decide to feel and how you decide to handle yourself. You are in charge of you, and that's all you can do. Now, if you are in a position where you can get out of this toxic situation, you need to get out and get out fast. Leave and don't look back. Let me tell you something, and listen very carefully to me. You can't heal in the same environment that you got sick. So get out of that environment. Bottom line, pray for them. They need help that you can't give them. These are all tough pills to swallow, but honey, here, I've got water for you if you need help. And step number 4, if the situation was really terribly, excruciatingly awful for you, like trauma status awful for you, get help. If you need it, you should do it. There is no shame in the therapy game. Honey, I have been going to therapy for 5 years. I go to therapy so I can know how to deal with people who need therapy. I'm done. You don't have to listen to me talk anymore, okay? I'm just gonna leave you with this little bit of important scripture. I want you to remember this. Don't let toxic people or bad situations interfere with the peace God offers you. Honey, I pray that every day. Now this may come as a shock to you, but I have Chipotle waiting for me.
You're hot and you're yummy, you fill up my tummy with hugs.
I'm in a very committed relationship with burritos. What can I say? I'm gonna blast, but take it easy. Love you, miss you, can't wait to see you soon. Wash your hands. I will talk to you next week. Bye.